Welcome back to the Legends of South Bend. One of the things we want to do in each segment is talk about what is the essence of the person and highlight who they are through their Notre Dame experience. Let's hear some more from Rocket. I want to take a trip down memory lane.
Okay.
We're going to take it back. This may or may not be the crying segment.
Oh, Lord, don't get it, Brother Misty up in here. Hold on now.
Now, when I think back on my childhood, growing up without a father was hard, but for the most part, it was fun. Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Man, well, my childhood was good until I was about 10 years old, and then my dad died, and so I was the oldest son. I had an older sister, but it was very difficult from the perspective that my father was always like, oh, you're the man in the house, the man in the house. And in my mind, I thought when I was 10, I was like, okay, I'm a man now, because my father was dead, and my mother, she was gone because she had to work like 2-3 jobs to keep everything afloat. And it was just so difficult because I started realizing I didn't have a clue what a man was or how to be a man. And it became very frustrating to the point where, my grandmother, she recognized how everything was regarding my brothers and I coming up, and just the environment that we lived in was kind of getting more treacherous. And we literally, when I was 12, and my brother was 11, she brought us to Pennsylvania to live with her, and the idea was, hey, you can go to public schools here and get like a private school education. You can play sports. The environment won't be, a one where, you might not make it home that day. My best friend at the time when we first came to school, Brian Dwyer, his dad came to school. Mr. Dwyer, he really started helping us to understand what it means to have a goal and vision. And it was like we started having a plan for our future. And even though we didn't know how to plan for the future, he was like, okay, you're going to do good in school. And the reason you're going to do good in school is because you want to go to college after you get out of school. And you want to go to college after you get out of school is because it's going to help you whenever you're trying to get better in life or go to a place where you want to do something that's going to greatly enhance your ability to do whatever it is you want to do. So it was like he gave us things in our life that we use as goals to accomplish. And before I knew it, man, by the time our junior year came around, it was like, man, we had offers to go to universities, and it was just a great environment where if my grandmother hadn't stepped up and said, here, I'll take the boys, even though she was an old woman. We're like, preteens, getting ready to go into the crazy part of our lives. And the entire community, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, stepped up. The entire, our high school stepped up. The coaches, the teachers, the guidance counselors. Everybody stepped up. It really allowed us to be positioned to succeed later on in life.
Now, I heard you mention Mr. Dwyer, and then he also happened to be a Notre Dame fan. Was he the first guy that exposed you to Notre Dame football?
Brian had a sleepover, and we were in his house. This is what I heard. The University of Notre Dame proudly presents its Fighting Irish. Bam, 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 bam. And the fight songs blared out. And he's sitting in his rocking chair. He has this pipe in his mouth. I promise you, he looked like a giant leprechaun. And he's like, you hear that, laddie buck? That's the greatest fight song in the land. Sit down, let me tell you about the Irish. Like, a seed was planted right there, because after that, everything in me was like, man, I gotta go to Notre Dame. I didn't even know where Notre Dame was. I thought Notre Dame was in California or something, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like all those, he was a pivotal point in our lives that, again, he really laid the groundwork for vision, for dreaming, and really believing that, hey man, yeah, it's a dream, but this thing can be real life.
Now, a lot of people always ask me, was it hard for you coming to Notre Dame, a predominantly Irish Catholic university? Was it hard to go and fit in there?
As a black man, it was like going to the university. The black student population when I was there, like 10,000 undergrad and postgrad and law school combined. Man, it might have been 100 black people on the campus, and that can play a role in a lot of people's decisions to where I want to go to school or where I feel comfortable. The blessing for me was none of those things were all like kind of like peripheral. The main thing was like, hey, what's going to position me in football? What's going to position me academically? What's going to be able to put me in the best position so when I get out into the world and there's opportunities for me, what's going to prepare me to be able to make the most of the opportunities that avail themselves. And that, to me, was my focus.